Hey, this is Charles from Evershade Gaming, and I'm bringing you not a battle report, but a Ninth Age podcast today. And I'm also joined with some other gentlemen from the Evershade Gaming crew, the Kirby Paint and Tile Plus boys. We've got Maxwell, Andrew, and Alex. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves, starting with Maxwell?
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Maxwell, otherwise known as Mooksy on the forums. Been playing the game for a long time. Really excited to contribute more with Kirby Paint and Tile Plus Evershade Gaming community. Should be a good time.
What armies do you play, Maxwell?
It's a long list. Currently, I've played Infernal Dwarves for the majority of Ninth Age. I'm kind of dabbling more with Empire right now, Empire of Sonstal, and those are my current projects. I also have Vampire Covenant, Lizardmen, otherwise known as Saurian Ancients, and
I would say I never heard of Lizardmen before.
Yeah, and a smattering of Orcs and Goblins.
All right, sounds good. What do you play, Andrew?
Hey Charles, I'm Andrew, otherwise known as Trains Get Robbed in Forums.
Oh, the infamous.
Right. Always starting smack. Boisterous. I play Highborn Elves. I also play Kingdom of Aquitaine. I was on the Kingdom of Aquitaine committee for about a year. I enjoy the game more than a hobby, but I do like myself some painting, and that's what I'm doing right now, and that's me.
All right, sounds good. Alex?
Hey, I'm Alex, known as Dino on the forums. I am the Beast Herds army support person. Like, usually there's supposed to be like 2 or 3 of those guys, but Beast Herds just have to deal with me. They are currently the only army I'm really playing, Beast Herds. I've been playing them ever since like back when we were playing Fantasy Battles, and I haven't stopped since then.
I like how you say it's like a bad thing that you're the only Beast Herds.
That's the thing, because most armies are supposed to get 2 or 3 members.
Yeah.
Because they can like bounce ideas off of one another and work collaboratively on what they're supposed to submit to the actually design teams and the background teams to try and figure out what they're supposed to do with the direction of their army. But because they just get me, I feel like it's kind of biased that way. And although I'd appreciate some help, we don't really have a lot of action on our forums, so it's hard to get an idea of who would really be helpful to have on as another army support user.
Beast Herds just are so content right now, right?
That's a good point. Like, there's nothing we're really asking for, but the thing is, if we do end up
better Gortox, right?
Yeah, that's true. We do need better Gortox. They're absolute shite right now.
Let's also be real too. You are so good at the Army Committee job that you are like the Jeff Goldblum of Army Committee members right now. You kick butt and take names.
I don't know Cathan.
I don't know how Jeff Goldblum would stack up as an Army forum supporter, but I mean, he's a bench.
Some bizarre ideas.
He's any kind of a benchmark, I guess.
If he was going to be the support member on any forum, it would be Demon Legion, I think.
I could see that, yeah. Well, chaos theory.
I was thinking more the Fly.
The Fly.
Oh, Pestilence. I can see that too. Okay. Thank you, Alex. I'm Charles from Evershade Gaming. I've played a lot of Dread Elves. I unfortunately will not be playing any more Dread Elves. And I play Empire of Sonstal right now. And I'm on the content team as a YouTuber. So that's just some of the Evershade Gaming guys. We have a couple more, and we'll probably try and get them on another podcast in the future. But I think that's a pretty good introduction. And we're just going to talk a little hobby right now. So, Maxwell, what's up in the hobby world?
Oh, so many things. It's kind of crazy. Right now, my big goal is, since we just finished up Adepticon, I'm really trying to work hard on getting some Empire of Sonstal done up for Buckeye. Will be the next big tournament for me. Buckeye Battles! So
hey,
I'm doing up these Empire of Sonstal with Kislev theme. So, lots of bears, lots of fur, lots of
Tojin Guard.
Mustaches.
Oh yeah. Lots of mustaches, very manly, such man. But yeah, so I'm trying to crush through my halberdier unit right now. Just got the rest of the bits for them. So if you guys kind of want to follow my progress, I do have a blog up on the Ninth Age forum. Just look up Mooksy and you'll find it.
Shout out to the blog.
Shout out to the.
All right, Andrew, what's up in Hobbyland?
Mooks, how do you spell your tag?
Mooxie.
Right on.
Thanks for the reminder there. I'm sure that.
Yeah, I just figured fans got to know.
Yeah.
Fans got to.
Get confusing otherwise.
Recently in hobby, I have been slowly, tediously painting my army over the many years. I mean,
Talon by talon, you could say.
But yeah. I mean, it's been a years long project. You guys can attest to how long and slow I am at doing crap in hobby. So
But those
What
bolt
do you
throwers
think?
came out so well.
Yeah.
Bolt throwers came out well, but that's only 2 models in a 100 model army. So I'm slowly painting my Elemental Beast Incarnate, which is my Fire Phoenix. Just got the other Talon done last night, so this should be tied up pretty soon. And I'm just focused on getting a fully painted army for Buckeye so that the painting points can also combine with those battle points, and I can actually, place in the top 10 for once, and not just walk around with no paint score. And
Oh yeah, those paint points are huge. I mean, even if you have a ton of battle points, you're not going to do very well.
No, you
without them,
can't.
so-
I mean, because if you look at the top guys of any tournament, they all got great paint scores.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
20,
20s.
20. I mean, 20s and up.
Mike Smith philosophy, that's what I follow.
Yep,
All
gotta
about
have
the
it.
best general.
All right, Alex.
That's just so hard to get.
What's hobby like for you these days?
I just recently got a couple of miniatures in from Mears Miniatures. Shout out. I got a couple of the stand-ins for a Gortok model that I'm going to be using to replace my G-Dub models. And I just got them finished cleaning up today with the toothbrush. They're sitting out drying right now. I'm going to get started on a little bit. And I've also been putting together some dryads for the Sylvan Elves I've been working on. I've been thinking about making a user log on the forums just to give me some kind of a push to get the models done so I can put them in on the submissions and posts. So
That'd
maybe
be cool.
that'll happen, maybe it won't, but we'll see.
That'd be cool. I'm kind of excited to see you play Sylvan Elves. I think that'll be interesting since you almost always play Beast turns.
That's the thing. I've been playing them for so
Yeah.
long. I want to play at least something else.
I think
I
it's,
want to be able to have a different faction army.
it's
not just
amusing.
the neutral one.
It's amusing you chose the other army that lives in forest. So
Well, I feel like they won't be totally different than Beast Herds. I feel like there's gonna be
lava. What else?
a lot of similar concepts.
Are you gonna finally do the lava? What else?
I'm not gonna do the Lava Wood Elves or the Desert Wood Elves.
Oh man.
Heartbreaker.
You're doing more of like an autumn kind of arid theme, though.
More
so-
like a death theme, really. I was going for
Dune
the
movie.
I was going for the like a forest that had just recently been burned down, destroyed.
Ashy kind of forest. That's kind
I
of
was
cool.
I was thinking of doing prisoners, taken of the forces that burned down the forest.
That's cool.
So we'll see how it pans out.
Okay, nice. In my hobby world, I did a teeny bit of Empire AOS painting for Adepticon that we just all played at this last weekend, and it paid off big time actually. Like all I did was paint 3 flagellants and base some knights, and yeah, big difference.
That's how you get a 22, Charles.
That's how you go from a 7 to a 22. Is you pull out a display board, you paint all your flagellants, and you base knights. So
Yeah.
You had
Oh,
the
yeah.
name card too. You had that name card.
yeah. Well, I had that name card when I was at Siege too. So
Yeah, that always helps.
yeah, name cards are big. All
Yeah.
right, so but hobby's been good. I'm really excited. I just got at Adepticon. There's this game called Free Blades from DGS Games. They make really cool models. Shout out to them. But I picked up these trial stones, and I'm really excited to paint those and put those in unit fillers for my Empire Stone style.
Kind of spruce it up a little bit there.
Yeah, spruce it up. I need to make I have a list. I think I want to run a horde of 25 flagellants with a
Yes.
prelate.
Nice.
With a prelate in it. I'm
Bringing it back.
I'm kind of hype about it. So I've got a list. I need to make a unit filler to be able to run 25.
I mean, they were all the rage, and then just with the changes with 1.2.
Yeah. Well,
they just
I've
dropped
got
off.
enough BS shooting in the list too that I think I can get rid of the chaff, so
Gotcha.
that people can't get away from the horde.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
because that's the only thing
solid.
that'll ruin it is chaff.
Oh yeah. The second you see a frenzy, horde sitting
Yeah.
across from you,
Yep.
don't
Okay.
want to mess with that.
So our main topic for this podcast tonight, however, is not hobby, even though hobby is always fun to talk about. It's the survey that the Ninth Age community just put out recently on magic items. So I don't know if you've done this survey yet. If you haven't, you should get on the forums. It's really easy to find. It's what is it? It's just one of the tabs at the top now. It's next to the rules and the forum. You just
I think you probably put the link in the description of this video.
Good call. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. So yeah, we'll have the link in the video. It's a really quick survey. It's only 2 questions. It's a decent amount of text to read, but it's pretty quick. So we'll have pictures up of the different statements and questions as we go through the video. But do you guys want to start? Let's start looking at these statements on question 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right. So the big issue the survey is trying to answer is, where should magic items be located? Should they be army specific, or should they all be common, or some kind of mix in between? That's what the survey is trying to target at. So looking at the first statement in question 1, statement A is all magic items should be army specific magic items. All magic items should be individual army book magic items.
Mm-hmm.
Statement B, there should be common magic items and army-specific magic items. All common magic items should be in the rulebook. All common magic items should be universally costed, just pretty much like what we have now.
Yeah, this is the current rule.
All army-specific magic items should be in individual army books. Yeah, statement B is the current situation. And then statement C, there should be common magic items and army-specific magic items. All common magic items and army-specific magic items should be in individual army books. All common magic items should be costed based on the army they are in. Which is kind of like 7th edition.
Yeah, the throwbacks.
Yeah. And I think that's an interesting way to go back to. I mean, statement A, that's just getting rid of all common, making the individual army book special items.
That would,
so that's, paring down the amount of stuff running around.
Yeah.
Right.
Which would probably also increase army-specific magic items.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they were going to add more in. So
because
that would
most
be
most books only have like 12 right now. Not all 12 items in every book are commonly taken.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole other issue. Is they gotta, I think, rework a lot of the magic items as they are.
Yeah.
And which is, what they're working with, I'm sure.
Yeah. So statement A would be only army-specific items, and all magic items are in army books.
If this were to happen, I feel like there'd be a huge outcry, because as it is now, I feel like people usually go for the common items more than their army book items.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do go for an army book item, it's usually the same one
In every army.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So if they were to get rid of common items, there would be a huge outcry. People would probably
I think ever since
live out of the game.
I think ever since 8th edition, I think we've been ingrained, to get those common items
Mm-hmm.
because they became so good.
Right.
Who doesn't like an ogre blade?
Mm-hmm. And when they're
Right.
all the same cost, you get into specific situations like with the old Axe of Battle, where you get +3 attacks, costing the same for a high elf compared to, say, a Minotaur. You run into problems with costing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's
here's my
where we get into
question.
these other statements.
Here's my question to you. For those of us that did it, what did you guys vote for? Did you guys vote for statement A, statement B, or statement C?
So now we can look at there's a little chart below every question, and it's kind of simplifies the statements.
Mm-hmm.
I went with statement C for this question.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes the most sense.
Yes.
So Alex, you voted for C as well,
Absolutely.
and
So
then
is
that-
Drew, what did you do?
Is that a unanimous 3 across the board? Because I voted for C as well. I think it's better to have the magic items, common magic items, but be costed in specific army books. Yeah.
Mhm.
It just makes
Yeah, and so for those of you that do math, I haven't voted yet, and I'm leaning towards C as well. It just seems the best because, like Alex alluded to, being able to cost stuff for a specific army is I think a lot more balanced than what we have right now. So
I think
that's also.
I mean, I think the important thing is it's hard to remember every army specific item.
Sure.
But it's easy to remember common items.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I think even if they cut down on the number of common items, if you go with Statement C, it wouldn't be that bad because though you're going to get some of the same items across armies, I wouldn't say necessarily that all of them need to be the same across every army.
Yeah.
So like we could say beast herds, orcs and goblins, and ogres might get access to the Bluffer's Helm, and that's represented as a common item. But then you'll get armies like, let's say, Sylvan Elves, Empire, and anything else. Like, let's even say Chaos. They'll have access to an item that those other 3 armies might not have access to, and it'll just make sense that the armies for which it makes sense for them to have that common item will have them, and they'll be priced accordingly. But there are certain items, like especially, let's say, like the Bluffer's Helm in Empire, like they will very rarely take it. So does it really make sense to even give them the option to take it?
So it's only okay on a I mean all the characters that T4, so I mean, it's okay on those guys. It's not even good on a prelate on a wagon because that thing
it's T5.
It's got towering presence.
Oh.
Yeah.
But isn't it a chariot?
Oh, but it's still got towering presence.
It just
still
You can't take the plus on towering presence though, anyways. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I'd say you can. You just don't get the rule to move.
Yeah, but because it's a chariot, you'd gain the benefit though.
No, towering presence.
You get the armor save, but that's it.
Yeah, you get the armor save. Which I mean, there is other items to take instead. You just if you really need an armor save, you get.
It's like in the case that you took all the other ones.
Yeah. Yes, Empire has enough armor save items.
No, I was right. Yeah, you can't even take it without if it has towering presence, it can't be taken at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
that's what I thought. We're good, but
lawyers.
I don't think that. I mean, I guess they could limit some common items, kind of like they did back in 6th and 7th. But I don't think necessarily that you need to limit and I mean even take away any of the items. For example, it was like what Alex is like you're saying, Alex, is you had the Bluffer Summon Empire book. Sure, it's not taken that often, but I would just make it costly enough that it's not really a option, but still leave it there. If if a fluff player or if someone wants to run it or someone has a unique combo that might actually work, then I mean at least you have it in there to have it in there. But
I'm saying that we only get a limited number of magic items to deal with. If I believe it's true that every army has the same number of actual magic items that they can put on their character. So if we're saying that common items and army items are going to start sharing space, it's obvious that some of the magic items are going to have to go, and if we can preserve them for the armies that use them, I think that'll be better than losing magic items for armies that need them. Like, let's say, by getting rid of some magic items, is the Bluffer's Helm Chariot Beast Lord suddenly going to go away? The same thing with the Iron Orc Warlord. Is the, let's say, the Ogre Blade Vampire on foot, is that going to go away if no one gets access to the Ogre Blade anymore? Like, I just don't think it makes sense to delete a magic item if it's only used in some armies, instead of just making room for the armies that do use it and letting them have access.
Yeah, I think that's a decent argument. Yeah. So I think we've covered question 1 well enough. I mean, we're all in agreeance. I don't think that's a word.
It is now.
We all agree that C is the best choice.
At least from our perspective.
Yeah, from our perspective, of course. From our humble opinions. So let's take a quick look at question 2. And then this is interesting. So question 2 has 5 statements, and I'm pretty sure the question only let you select one statement.
No, you should be able to select 3 statements.
Yeah, you're supposed to select 3.
Pretty sure I did that wrong then when I did the survey. I didn't read the question. Classic blunder. You always read the question on a quiz.
It's a good batting average, though.
So you select the 3 statements that you agree with the most. So let's start reading them. Does anybody want to read statement A?
Yeah, sure, I got it. So for statement A, they're saying that there should be common magic items and army-specific magical items, that all common magical items should be in the rule book as opposed to the individual army books, and All common magical items should be universally costed, as well as all army-specific magic items should be in the individual army books.
So that's
So it's
also what it's
separating
like
the
now.
common. Yeah. Yes, this is what we currently have. for
Yes, yeah.
Statement B, they're saying that there should be common magical items and army-specific magical items. That all common magical items and army-specific magical items should be in the individual army books. All common magical items should be costed based on the army book they are in, and that the complexity of the individual army books should be decreased elsewhere. So this is putting all of the army or all magical items into the individual books, removing them from the big rule book, and then also taking those items and costing them specifically to the army they're a part of.
What's that last line for? The complexity of individual army books should be decreased elsewhere.
Very
So they're saying-
vague.
Yeah, so they're
Can't really
saying
be sure what they mean.
instead of paring down the amount of items that maybe an army has access to, they'll probably just, decrease the effectiveness of a unit innately, character specific, of course.
Interesting.
Would be my guess.
Okay.
Because they're kind of vague with their wording
Yeah,
here.
complexity of individual army books should be decreased elsewhere.
Yeah, and this isn't a bad option. This is kind of pretty similar to the option C from the first question.
Yeah, it's very close, except for that little last blurb they have at the end of that statement.
Right. I guess statement C, there should be common magical items and army-specific magical items. All common magical items and army-specific magic items should be in the individual army books. All common magic items should be costed based on the army books they are in, and then the number of common magical items should be decreased to 60%.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is the same as statement B, right?
With the
Except that
exception-
they're decreasing the amount of magical items
Yes,
available.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But leaving the army mostly the same, it seems like.
Yeah.
So you're getting a more majority of the army specific items
Yeah.
rather than these common items.
Which
But then you're also getting more common items that relate to you as opposed to the ones that you just never use.
yes, yeah.
So I can understand.
Yeah, I don't
that.
read it that way. I just read it as the number of common magical items should be decreased to 60%. Because
See,
when I put it in the book,
Actually,
there's
I
already
think,
9.
I think that's how it is. Actually, yeah. It might not be specific items to your army. I think that's the later statements. I think this is literally saying all the common magical items will be decreased by 60% or to 60%. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, I agree with Andrew here. Or I'm gonna start calling you Drew again. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm not a fan of that, frankly, because once you get rid of complexity in the game, it's really hard to bring it back. Sure, you can. There's other mechanics and things you can introduce, but one of the biggest things I remember ever since playing 7th edition back to you guys in 2009. Back in the olden days, I love kitting out a character. I love being able to take an ogre blade vampire. I love being able to take a Vambrace of defense, highborn elf on horseback, strolling in with the Star Lance, taking out some
stop.
people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love taking items. So when you decrease the complexity of the items, you also decrease the variance that you have on your characters and the ability for your platforms to deal with certain elements that your opponent has in their list. Effectively, you just have less tools in your Swiss Army knife. You might be missing your screwdriver now and your other corkscrew bit inside the Swiss Army knife. If maybe they combine together all the magic reses into just one super big powerful magic res 4-up, and maybe they cut the enchanted shield out because the dragon helm already exists. So I'm not a big fan of decreasing complexity per se, unless it's straight up like there's a magic item in the common, and then the army book has something that's identical to that, or almost identical to that.
See, I kind of liked how Alex was describing it, how if you are going to decrease the amount of common magical items available to a specific army, you should cut out the ones that they aren't taking right now anyway.
The ones that they aren't taking or that they shouldn't have access to.
Or they shouldn't have access to, which actually leads us into Statement D. So let me read Statement D. There should be common magic items and army-specific magic items. All common magic items and army-specific magic items should be in individual army books. All common magic items should be costed based on the army book they are in. Number of common magic items available to each individual faction should be decreased to 60%. So all this is very similar to statement C, but then common magic items available to each individual faction should reflect the nature of the faction in question. This is what I voted for when I did the
This is
survey.
my favorite one.
I also prioritize D.
Yeah.
I think it really helps give a flavor to the army that you're playing.
Yeah.
And it really separates it from, playing any other faction, really.
It also keeps it from complicating it too much, and that you still have some common magical items across every faction, or across some factions, so you aren't getting a whole multitudinous, like several pages of magic items and having to remember every one.
Yep.
True.
You're still getting items that you, like when you see it on an army list, you know what it does, because it does the same thing across those armies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Perfect.
So all three of you guys voted for E in your choices?
No, we
yes.
voted. This is statement D.
D is
D.
Delta, my bad. I think I voted for that as well, but that was kind of the tertiary. Like, of the three statements I chose, that was like the last one I chose.
Oh, really?
What did you prioritize, Drew?
I prioritized our next statement, statement E.
Really? So let's. Why don't you give it a read, Drew? Why don't you give it a read?
All right. All magic items should be army-specific magical items. All magic items should be in individual army books. There should be no common magical items. The number of army-specific magical items should be increased 3 times.
So I mean,
that.
this goes.
I think I chose E, but I didn't prioritize it like I did D. Like, as soon as I saw D, I scrolled to the bottom of the page and selected it.
See, this would go right back to like 7th edition Warhammer. But then even then they still had common magic items, but nobody really took them. Nobody took them except the spell scroll.
That's true.
Well,
And then
I don't know. There's a sort of might and stuff people still took, and there was the
but they usually had good enough. Weapons themselves. So they didn't really need to take like the sword of might or something like
You
that.
would see them rarely, but you wouldn't see them as often as you would see the army-specific magical items.
Yeah,
that usually had more utility.
Yeah. We were before we did this. Alex was going through the Beast. What is it? The Beast of Chaos book.
The 6th edition Beasts of Chaos book.
Yeah,
I was reeling at some of these.
Some of the items were so good. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my gosh, they just
#OP.
break the game.
I mean, then again, I never played in 6th edition, so I don't really know what the environment was.
Yeah.
Maybe other armies had even crazier stuff, but
Yeah.
there's some stuff that I wish I had now.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody would agree with you there.
I mean, I think it would be interesting if we went back to fully army-specific magic items. I just think it would be a pain to balance those items and also remember them.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. Because if we're
I
increasing
apologize.
Sorry, what? Go ahead.
As I say, I apologize. I don't think E was the one I prioritized. I think it was D with you guys, because E says there's no common magic items at all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I apologize. I did D with you. I think we're across the board again.
Okay. Well, I honestly think D's the best option. Because
And you do select 3.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm doing the survey again. I'm going B, C, D, and D's the first one I selected.
Those are what I'm going for as well. I mean, they're kind of the middlemen.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really like D because I think to increase the fluff and the background for each army, they can do that by limiting magic items to each faction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's great. I think that's how it should be.
I think D makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Oh yeah.
All agreed. Say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
So actually, we just crushed the survey. So that was pretty quick, actually.
Was that all that there was?
That's
There's
all.
also the interview part.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So this next page.
I guess we could do this. This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So this is the second part of the survey is a little bit about you as a player. So the first question is how many man hour?
How man hour?
I
think it's just a little typo here too.
How many man hours do you spend on 9th age related activities per week?
We're gonna shit.
See, the big thing here. So You imagine maybe if you play a game a week or a game every 2 weeks is probably a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, this is including playing, modeling, painting, writing
Right.
fiction, creating artwork, browsing forums, interacting on social media.
Writing
Oh.
army lists.
Right, yeah, making
Brow-
army lists.
that browsing
I can't tell you
forums.
How many
part
times
is
I have
big.
battle scribe in my hand when I'm on the toilet? I mean,
I don't
it
even
just-
bother with that. My bedroom is actually like wallpapered with my army lists.
This is like an embarrassing answer right here. I don't know what.
I would
what to
say,
even say.
well, I didn't even think about the browsing forums because,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's huge.
unfortunately, I do a lot of note taking in class on my computer, and it's pretty easy to just skip to the forums for a quick
Tab
sneak
over
peek
real quick.
during class. So I think I put down 10 originally.
Hmm.
I don't know if
10
that's high enough though.
Yeah, I put 12 originally. That's gotta change.
Because I mean, especially as like me making battle reports, usually one of my battle reports takes like an hour and a half to make. Games are like 2.5 hours at least.
Right.
And then painting. I mean, Mook's like your hobby is like you're like hobbying almost every other day, right?
Yeah, practically. If I'm not on the forum or if I'm not,
Yeah. So how
working
many?
class.
How many hours are in a week?
72, right?
That's what it seems like, right?
Took your shot and missed there, Alex. The days in the week. I don't know. The amount of time
168 hours.
Yeah, it was close.
Minus most people sleep 8 hours a day, so that brings it down to there's 112 hours, like normal hours that you're not sleeping. Well, minus what everybody works about 8 hours a day, but they travel about a half hour to work, so we'll do 9 times 5. Most people don't work on the weekends, so there's about 67 hours in the week. How much of that 67 hours do you get to do with Ninth Age?
Ugh, man.
I would say it's like sometimes like 20 at least for me.
Wow.
I would say.
Throughout the week between all
between-
the stuff.
yeah,
I'd say at least probably between 15 and 20.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 37. No, 26.
26.
There it is. That's the real answer. 26.
Reference 10 points to Maxwell.
Okay. So this is another great question. How many games in Ninth Age do you play per year on average?
So
Okay,
what was
so
your
yeah.
answer, Charles?
I said 52 in my first time because I'm thinking like I probably play at least once a week. Between the tournaments and then every now and then there's a couple weeks you miss. I'd say I play at least once a week because I was even thinking about it. So far I've made I think like 14 battle reports this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been there's only been a couple games that I've played that I've skipped making battle reports. And it's our we've been about at 18 weeks so far.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, actually just about like 15 weeks.
So if you continue this trend with just the battle reports you've made, then you're on track to meet your record.
Yes, yeah. So, and I would say that's just about right. Because even when I got back, I was home in January, and I was playing a ton of games with you guys, and then we've been to 3 tournaments this year already. It's only March, and so I guess it's almost April, but it's almost April, and we've been to 3 tournaments, which is pretty good. So yeah, I'd say 52.
52. I mean, that sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. And would anybody else say they play more?
Yeah, I put more.
I don't know. Yeah, it kind of comes and goes in spurts between like playing hobby or just doing your hobby or playing games.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to be your focus. I mean, definitely when it comes to tournaments, I mean, if we're including doubles games and then like smaller single events and stuff like
that's true.
that.
That's exactly where I got my number from. Because if you think about
that
it,
alone is 11 games
yeah.
last weekend alone.
Yeah. Only 8 for me.
Yeah. Well,
That's-
poor Tommy.
None of all of us can go so hard.
for so long.
At this point, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Bahama Mama. The Bahama Mama here from Enid, Oklahoma at the Westgate Shopping Center. Let's just say it's from the islands.
It's from
The
the
islands.
Make you go loco. Yeah, I'll probably agree with you there, Chuck, on like around 50 games, 60
Yeah.
games, somewhere in there.
Yeah. This is a good question, too. How many tournaments playing Ninth Age do you play per year on average?
I'd say probably 4.
See, last
Really?
year I did 3.
I think we did 4 last year.
I can't believe we're saying that. We've already done 3.
Yeah, well, last
I
year
know.
I did 3 because I did Siege of the Tower, Buckeye
Yep.
Battles, and Strength in Numbers.
Yep.
Because I missed
And
Okon.
then me and Alex, we did Ocon.
Yep.
I think that was the only other tournament.
Yeah.
Whereas
I'll say
this year we're
we
doing
were going to do WCW.
right.
Yeah, you
that's
guys
true.
thought
We
about
dropped
it.
out of
Then
that.
that fell apart.
So yeah, I'm going to say like probably 4 or 5
Yeah.
would be the average.
Because we didn't do anything in the fall this year. Yeah.
Well, I mean, well, coming up now though.
Huh? Oh, yeah, you guys did Okon, or you guys
Oh,
did
we
Michigan
did.
GT.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Because you guys, I wasn't able to make Michigan GT. You guys played that in October, so you guys did 5 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda nuts.
But
So-
this year is where it's really going to matter because we had Siege at
Yep.
the Tower,
Yep.
and then we had Battle Cry in Baltimore.
Battlecry GT.
Then we had
Christmas.
Yeah,
We just
shout out
did
to Chris
Adepticon.
shout out to
Salad.
Chris Mintz for sure. We had Adepticon just now,
Yep.
the big one. Then we're gonna go maybe to Ocon. We're thinking about it.
Possibility for
Maybe.
Okon.
After that, after
Is-
Ocon,
Probably Buckeye
Buckeye.
Battles.
we've got Buckeye Battles.
Then WCW.
WCW
Well, no,
in
it's Strength in
November.
Number. Strength in Number first.
Yeah. Then Strength in Numbers.
And then
Then
WCW.
WCW. Or sorry,
Yep. Returning champs.
Strength in Numbers, and then Michigan GT.
Oh, yeah.
So that was it.
GT. Oh, my goodness.
Can't keep forgetting that. And then
was that 8?
WCW in November. So we got 8 that we're planning to do this year.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to have to bump my average here.
Real talk. I kind of want to do bits this year because we've never done it.
Do you think- Real talk.
No, I'm gonna
Real
stay away
talk.
from bits.
Do you think you have do you think you can get all your Highborn elves painted before then?
I could get it possibly done before then. Not for. I mean, Ohio Con.
I mean, the thing is, Buckeye's only 2 weeks later. That's gonna cut out a lot of painting time.
Yeah.
it'll cut out like 3 days.
I mean, traveling, it's like in Chicago, right?
Yeah, it takes like a day. It takes like a day to get down there. I mean, we leave early more like we normally do.
Eh. I feel like you'll lose a lot more time than that.
And going to a tournament always like reinvigorates my hobby. Like right now, I'm gluing Wild Rider legs together, talking in front of a laptop. I wasn't doing this last week.
That's true. Well, I mean, last week, I think everybody was doing hobby, though.
True, everyone's painting.
Right. So, next question. Put the following aspects of the Ninth Age hobby in order based on how important they are to you. So, first one is playing the game. Next one is collecting and painting miniatures. Third is creating narratives / background for your miniatures. Fourth one is social interaction with other hobbyists. And you have to go from least to most important, and you can't duplicate. This is what killed me: is you can't duplicate categories.
Yep. You gotta choose.
This was hard. This was hard for me.
This was quite easy for me.
Chuck,
personally.
attraction or interaction.
Interaction.
Well, social attraction and interaction with
Social
other
attraction
hobbyists.
to other hobbyists.
You know,
I mean,
when
like
Lenny
your
takes
granddad.
that shirt. No,
I mean,
it's
when
Lenny
Chris-
takes that shirt off.
When Chris Mintz's hair is flowing, looking so feathered and lethal.
That flow.
When Nate takes his shirt off in the hotel room.
Yeah. When the real painting starts.
Oh, good.
Like a French girl.
So Maxwell, you got this?
Oh yeah, this was pretty easy for me. I put playing the game as important,
Okay.
collecting and painting the miniatures as most important,
Okay.
the whole narrative background for the miniatures as least important,
Yep.
and then the social attraction interaction with other hobbyists as the not so important. Only because they have only these 4 categories. that you can
Yes.
choose
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
Of course, that's also a very fun part of everything. But
Yep.
yeah, that's what we got.
Drewski.
think you
Drewski,
did,
you got it?
Yeah, I did actually the same exact thing as Mooks, but I flipped 1 and 2 around. So playing games are most important to me, then hobbies second most important, then collecting, and then then social interactions, then lastly background and narratives.
Alex?
I gotta say, I did social interaction as most important. As
Wow.
playing a good game with a good person, regardless of how it goes, I feel is the most important part of playing Ninth Age. That, and considering you guys are hobbyists, partying with you guys at the hotel in between rounds is pretty hype.
Dope.
So I figured that was my most important.
Extreme hype.
Spicy.
I then considered playing the game to be next as important. Followed by collecting and painting miniatures. As we know, not all tournaments require painting. So, I mean, if you're in that kind of area where painting isn't quite so prioritized, maybe you might not consider painting so important. But we do, at least for the most part around here. And then finally, creating the narratives in the background was least important. Though I got to say, now that my Beast Lord has a name, Croc the Slayer, shout out to Shyhammer.
Croc the Slayer. Ooh, I like that.
Shout out to Shyhammer. Now that Croc the Slayer exists, I feel like I'm going to start playing up his ego a little more in our games.
All right, I like that. So
Nice.
I was actually close to Alex. So I put playing the game most important, and then I put social interaction next important. Because that's the best part about tournaments is the guys you get to play with.
Right.
Seeing like the regulars and seeing the new guys that come out. I mean, it's great stuff.
That is a really fun part of the game for sure, and something that we've really, I think, improved on. I know when we all kind of started as a group.
Oh, we were
going to tourneys. It
was tough getting to know everybody.
We were Loner Squad 101.
Right. But now that we've got a few tourneys more under our belt, it's really opened up, which has been really fun.
Yeah, it's great. So, and then the last question is, how important is it to challenge yourself and improve your abilities in competitive gaming? From 1, not important at all, to 5, of highest importance.
You guys want to guess what I put?
Not important at all. Right?
7.
Yeah, that was a 1 for you.
7 of the most desperate importance of all importances.
Ninth Age is life.
Ninth Age is love. Ninth Age is life. Oh my gosh.
Sure.
So 5. Is that what it is?
Yeah. No, I should put 4. Because I wanted to have some integrity.
No, that was such a lie.
No, I legit put 4. I'll put 5. I'll put 5 this time. Fair enough.
I put 4.
I also put 4.
I also put 4.
It's I mean, it's important, but it's
not at the risk of like screwing over and having a bad game.
Yeah, because that's worse.
Right. Yeah. Like that's the thing. Coming from where it used to be, I don't think Ninth Age is a win at all costs kind of game.
Yeah.
Especially like even at the top tables, like no one's really gonna be like that.
No. Well, I think honestly the game has gotten a lot strategically better, and that you don't have to just go crush every person you go play against.
Exactly.
To do well at a tournament. If you win, like a 12-8, and then you get the objective, you get that 15-5.
Right.
You add a bunch of 15-5s together, you're gonna place well. Like you're gonna have a great score.
The scoring is so much different now. It's it's a different mindset going into the games. I think you're playing a lot more tactically, and then that just lends itself to a different kind of game experience. I think.
Oh, totally.
Like playing the game has become a much more fluid, much more understandable experience than like let's say end of 8th edition tournaments where it was just how can I soft cheat my opponent and not get caught.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Bretonnia character walls and all other shenanigans to do with aligning monsters and corners and
such less cheekiness.
Monster railroading. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But now that we've eliminated those like loopholes and made it so that everyone at some point gets the clear understanding of the rules to the point where they can just play the game.
Yep.
Like there's almost barely ever any looking up in rule books anymore. Like it's become a much more fluid experience, and I think for absolutely better.
Oh, yeah,
so
totally.
you don't need to be that competitive
while
still wanting to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. The last question on the survey is, how many 9th Age hobbyists do you know that do not use the 9th Age forum?
I think we all have 2 people on our minds at this point.
Yep. I already had 2 written down in the question.
Yeah.
Although I've only run into one person at a tournament that I think 2 people that didn't use the forums in a tournament. And when it was when it was at Siege and when I was at Battlecry, I didn't do this in my last 2 tournaments, but definitely at Siege, I was asking a few people's gamer tags or forum tags, so that when I post the battle reports on the forums, I could also be like, "Oh, thank you, blah blah blah, for a great game," or whatever, or "Thank you for crushing me so good."
Good.
I love the way you smash me. I love the way you smash me and reduce me to nothing.
Wow.
I wish you would say that more often, Charles.
Oddly sexual.
At Dino.
At Dino.
You want to get smashed at Dino.
Yep.
That's too funny.
But yeah, I've only come across 2 people at a tournament that did not have a forum tag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now we got to get Steven Taylor on this forum action.
Couple of Evershade boys that you haven't met yet, but we'll get them out soon.
To be honest though, I mean they're really just getting into their hobby again, so they're starting off.
They're late bloomers.
Nate doesn't have a tag, does he?
Yeah, he's the Forgotten Turtle.
Ooh. Oh, I didn't know that.
But he only goes on there to sell miniatures.
Sell miniatures.
I remember looking at all his posts, and they're all just like, "How do I sell models?"
Marketplace.
Yep, marketplace. Yep.
And he too. I mean, he's coming around. He's going to be doing his Kingdom of Equitaine in a bit here, so that'll be exciting to see that blossom.
Yep.
But yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Are there any? I guess that's the last question, right?
That's everything on the survey.
Dang.
Submit this bad boy.
Push that out pretty quick.
Sounds good. All right.
As a conclusion for the final topic, I mean, I guess the general consensus is we would like to see if the complexity of the magic items is going to decrease, which seems like it's a inevitability. We'd like to see that the magic items are in each army book, whether they're core or whether they're actual army magic specific items.
Yeah, common or army, they should all be in army books. I agree with that.
Yep. Just
and
reduce the amount of documents you have to refer to.
Well, that's the best thing, is then they can cost them appropriately
right.
for each army.
It's perfect.
I mean, an Ogre Blade could probably be cheaper for an EOS player than for an Elf player.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Just because
Shield can be more expensive for Beast Herds than it can be for
anyone else. Maybe Beast Herds just don't have access to magic armors?
Yeah, Beastmen just don't get magic armor at all. In fact, just take Beastmen out. We don't need them anymore.
Yes, I support that movement.
They're kind of a garbage. They're kind of garbage anyway.
Garbage tier.
So
if you guys don't realize this, don't worry. The ironic statement will flash on the screen for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, just in big bold letters. Irony.
But yeah, good podcast, guys.
Good one to start off with.
Yeah.
Cool.
See you soon. This has been Evershade Gaming, and this is an Evershade Gaming podcast. See you later, YouTube.